So our next leadership award is named the Mary Lou Krauseneck Courage and Love Award. And Mary Lou fought ALS bravely for many years, and she really inspired in ALS TDI the need to remind ourselves that it takes both courage and love to go through this disease. And the first recipient of this award, Amy Whipple, back in 2005, was on our staff for a number of years, and she was driven to put her regular life on hold and join us as a fundraiser for many years because of her Aunt Mary Lou. We have a number of values at the Institute, and these continue to be two of the most important ones. This year's recipient, Jenny Gore Dwyer, will come up in a minute and say a few words of acceptance. But before we do that, I figured I could ask Dr. Perrin to just tell you a little bit about Jenny and why the community chose her as a recipient for this year's award.
Is that just because you're exhausted of talking? There's only one other person.
They've heard this squeaky voice enough, I think.
There's only one other person besides Rob and I who can talk as quickly as we do, and it's Jeff Rothstein, who's an ALS researcher. The guy can do 90 slides in 30 minutes. So Jenny and her family found TDI quite a few years ago. Her husband Pat was diagnosed with the disease and recently lost his battle. From the first day I met Jenny, she is the prototypical person that you meet that unfortunately is touched by this disease. Their family was always thinking about everybody else. The story about her husband Pat goes on and on, how even during the struggles with his disease, his questions were always about how could he help somebody out. Recently when I was out there, I heard a lot of stories about the community they built around them, and Pat was quite a mechanic. In fact, nobody, it sounds like, in the Seattle area could buy an automobile without first getting checked by Pat whether it was the right choice for them. He had quite a passion for which ones were good ones and which ones weren't. It became apparent to them very quickly that they were going to join this fight and this battle, much like we just heard for the other recipients, and that ALS wasn't going to beat them, which is really amazing. They got involved with their local ALS chapter. They did fundraising events in the Seattle area, and they stumbled across ALS TDI and saw that we did something a little bit different. They became very passionate that we had a really good shot at finding treatments and moving something towards patients as quickly as possible. Jenny obviously is still really passionate about that, even though Pat recently lost his battle. Within a few weeks, we asked her to become more involved and join our board, and she actually accepted, which was really hard. That passion that she's going to bring to our board is something that all of us need to bring to what we're trying to accomplish as a community. And you heard that a little bit with the last two presentations as well. We say it a lot to patients as they come and they get to know ALS TDI and they want to do something. If you can't do it yourself, find somebody that's close to you that is a warrior that's going to help you in that battle. And that person is Jenny. And I think I've said enough and she should come on up.
So as Jenny's coming up, Michelle, do you want to come stand beside her? Michelle Dupree?
If she feels like she's going to fall down.
So why don't you come up here? Michelle Dupree is a previous recipient of this award, and she's more than welcome to come up if she's like. Otherwise, I will hand the microphone.
Great.
And Linda? Linda is here representing her daughter, Megan Mishork, who is a past recipient of this award as well.
Well, it's more than a few words, Rob.
You could not possibly talk more than I have today, so.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for the great introduction, both of you guys, and thanks to the Krauseneck family for the way that they live their life with the example of courage and love. And I want to thank ALS TDI. It's an honor to be recognized by you guys for this award, and I really appreciate it. The friendships that Pat and I forged over the years with Carol and Mike and Steve and Rob and John and Fernando and Mary Beth, our ALS nurse, you guys inspired us. Your dedication and support of all things ALS gave us strength and courage and love to fight this fight, and we're glad we found you. I have to admit, though, I'm slightly embarrassed to be receiving this award, to be honored with the traits of strength, courage, and love while living in the midst of ALS. Those aren't traits you develop on your own. Believe me, when we first started, our traits were more like anger, despair, and yelling. But as time went on, we started to realize that there was this incredible power that was kind of encircling us. And we soon realized that that was a power of love from our family, our friends, people who live with ALS, and everybody in this amazing ALS community. I've never met a community like it where everybody is just great. This award is represents me taking in all the inspiration that I was given by, all of you guys. Sorry, I'm a hand talker. So I want to thank the people who inspired me, and I need to start with my husband, Pat. I was just following Pat's lead. He was the one that lived with courage, strength, and love. His life was always about that. In whatever he did it with courage, strength, and love. And yeah, he was a type A personality. I'll give him that. He lived life before and after ALS with a positive attitude and worked really hard to achieve what he wanted, even through his ALS. I was also inspired by our good friends, BiFALS Ambassador Melissa Erickson and Corey Reach, and the inspiration of the Reach family, and the Erickson family, and Augie and his family, and that, of course, of the Haywoods, who started this ALS TDI Foundation Institute. From the beginning, I told Pat I would fight this disease as long as I could, for as hard as I could, and as best as I could, until he told me to stop. He never let his ALS define him. Until the bitter end, he did things his way. His final decision of being done with ALS was simply the strongest act of courage, strength, and love that I have ever seen. And that's the inspiration I was living with. My outreach and advocacy was just a natural extension of doing as much as I could to help Pat and everybody else with ALS try and find some way to live with this disease and find a treatment. It was easy to rally our community of friends and family and people I didn't even know to support ALS TDI. It was easy to call people when you call them up, and even before I could finish asking, they could say, what can I do to help? And it was that gave me inspiration, that gave Pat inspiration, and it enabled us to live and love every day. I also need to thank our family. We're kind of a love out loud family, and you know, there's no way I could have gotten through any of this without them. And for our neighborhood of friends that rallied and supported us with all the dinners, emails, and Kleenex and alcohol. You guys kept us upright when we were afraid to fall, and we were falling. To Pat's dad and brothers, I want to say thank you to them for putting their pain aside to stand by Pat and the kids and I. To my sisters and my mom, all you did every minute of the day kept us strong. Your faith every minute of the day that you can do this kept me going, because with you guys behind me, I knew I could. But the two most important people I need to thank, and seriously, they're the ones that live their life with strength, courage, and love, our children, Brenna and Sean. They're not here today because they're living life, which is as it should be. Brenna and Sean, your father and I could not be more proud of you. They were teenagers when their father was diagnosed with this insidious disease. As children and young adults, they experienced some parts of life that no child should ever have to live. You loved your dad, and because of that simple fact, that simple unconditional fact, no matter what, he wanted to live his life as long as he could for you. I know there were many times when it was horrible for you. It broke our hearts. But your dad and I appreciate the fact that you never gave up and you stood by us. We thank you for showing us how to be strong and courageous, and we thank you for being the light of our lives. We couldn't have fought this fight without you by our side, and we love you so much. What I've learned from ALS is really that love gets you through. You do many things that you never thought you could do because of love. In those final moments of Pat's ALS, his strength and courage formed a bright new love, which was the guiding light that took him home peacefully. And it will continue to light my path as I continue on my ALS journey. I have to. Pat and I didn't work this hard for it to all end this way. If there's one thing I know, everybody here in this room, everybody online, wants a treatment or 20 for this disease. For everyone who lives and works with ALS on any level wants this. And as the author, Paulo Coelho, said in his novel, The Alchemist, when you really want something, when you really, really want something, the universe conspires to make it happen. Let's all conspire to make a treatment happen. Let's push the rules to the edge and go beyond the normal bounds. The way that Pat lived. And if we get in trouble, we'll blame him. We've got some of the smartest people in the world working on this disease. We've got committed advocates, and we've got committed politicians. And we have ALS TDI leading the way. But now we have something else. We have Pat and his good friend, Melissa Erickson, those superstars who are going to be working the universe from their new place in it. Pat and Melissa are connected in an inexplicable way. First, you need to know that Pat's birthday was 4/14/61. Pat passed away on June 4th at 4:14 p.m. His friend Melissa passed away June 5th at 4:14 p.m. So I think what we need to do is combine all our strength, courage, and love and throw it out there to them and make a treatment a reality. And we'll watch for those 4 and 14s because then we'll know we're getting close. Thank you, ALS TDI. I'm humbled and honored, and I will continue to work for ALS and live my life with courage, strength, and love the way that Pat and Melissa, all people living with ALS, do, and you guys. Thank you.
That was beautiful.